Thank you, Trevor. Our clock is winding down here. I wanted to make sure we at least talk about Obama for a sec because you contributed some very profound, powerful essays to our recent book on Obama, Barack Obama's True Legacy. And I've been, I think about Obama, and I know you do, and I think that he's very much at the core of the downfall of the United States and even what's happening right now. And I recommend everybody go read Barack Obama's True Legacy and especially Trevor's contributions to our book. Trevor, one thing I wanted to ask you is definitely there's a third term going on right now of Obama's, but it's interesting that Obama is not really touched. Even within the left, they can criticize a lot of their own people, but they never touch Obama. And even a lot of conservatives are afraid. Yes, there are some brave voices, but there's something untouchable about Obama. And I've been thinking he represents a kind of leftist God, also just in terms of being black, being ethnic, arguably perhaps even with some of the evidence that's come forward, either homosexual or homosexual friendly. There's so many realms there that he's worshipped as a god. Is it a kind of blasphemy is it a sort of blasphemy to criticize him, and that's why so many people recoil? Is there a fear of retaliation? What is it with this guy? Because you would think that a lot more would be being said.
Well, look, if you look at Nelson Mandela, the liberator of South Africa, a Central Committee member of the Communist Party USA, a leader of the ANC's military wing who ordered the bombings of supermarkets and railway trains that killed many people. But most people have no idea of this. Martin Luther King, who was absolutely deeply in bed with the Communist Party and did some pretty horrendous things in his personal lifestyle. But you cannot touch either of those figures because they've been made into demigods. And Obama is very much in the same category, which I think was the big motivation for writing the book, to stop this happening, to expose Obama for what he is, which is a lifelong communist who's done massive damage to this country. It was Obama who set the stage for the open borders that we have now. It was Obama that fired 200 good generals and weakened our military, which has basically encouraged the Chinese and the Iranians and the Russians to go on the warpath. All of these things, he is Obama that set the stage for the mass indoctrination of our kids and the transgender movement. All of these things have done massive damage to America, but it's never sheeted home to him. It's never, because he is being put out there as this demigod, the untouchable one. And can you imagine when he dies, how many roads, if the left gets control, how many Obama boulevards and Barack streets and that we're going to have all over America? This is what they did to Cesar Chavez, the same thing.
It's just interesting that in terms of what Larry Sinclair was saying, then it came out also in terms of Obama in the past talking about all that, homosexual stuff. I'm just saying, why wasn't this more talked about? I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying you would think that the Anderson Coopers that are so concerned about Stormy Daniels, that at least there would be a comment about some of this stuff.
Well, look, there's there's two standards of morality, our one and their one. And it's very different, look, Obama was made to be a savior. He is made to be a Christ-like figure. And Michelle is the Virgin Mary, basically.
Yeah, it's a cult of personality, right?
A cult of personality, 100%. And so no blemish should be reported. It'd be like talking about the Virgin Mary's acne or something. It'd be just so impolite,
And so a lot of conservatives also don't want to engage in blasphemy against their opponent, right?
Well, this is why conservatives will not touch Martin Luther King. They will not touch Nelson. No, they'll praise Nelson Mandela, who was a communist till the day he died. But they will, oh, Mandela did this, Mandela did that, and what a great figure, and what
Mm.
a hero, and whatever. But you're real brave guys who actually did something for America, like Joseph McCarthy and J. Edgar Hoover, are absolutely demonized. You know, these are the guys who held back the revolution, who gave us the freedoms that we still have today. They should be
Mm.
American heroes, but they're not. They are the demons and the people who work to destroy America, like Obama, who absolutely worked as a demigod. This is what communists do.
Yeah, and Trevor, in terms of what Hamas did, in terms of what Hamas just did, when we look at Obama's record, the way he empowered Israel's enemies, you would think this would be more talked about.
Yeah, it is, but there's certain things you're not allowed to talk about in
Yeah.
polite company because they have made deities of these people. This is, you know, communism is a religion, and these are the communist saints. And you
Yes.
cannot speak ill of a saint,
Mm.
even if that saint is carrying a pitchfork and has got a tail out the back, you know. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening. The
Okay.
heroes, the real heroes are demonized. The real heroes of human liberty are demonized, like our founding fathers are now demonized.
Mm.
You know, all we ever hear about is the fact they owned slaves. Nothing of the great things they did for America, nothing of the heroism
Mm.
and faith and courage they had. We hear nothing of that. They're demonized,
Mm.
and this is how communists work. This is how revolutions work. Revolutions must have their heroes. If you're
Mm.
on the side of the revolution, no matter what your faults, you'll be made into a hero. But
Mm.
if you're opposed to the revolution, no matter what your virtues, you'll be made a demon.
And Trevor, thank you so much for contributing to our book on Obama and all the essays in there that are just they're really horrifying narratives. This guy has done so much damage to this country, and he continues to, and we'll continue this story.